sitting at that desk, uh, talking to you guys. Is there some way I can monetize getting reactions to my
No.
Discord posts? Because if I could, if I had a nickel for every time someone,
Oh, oh my God. I have a question. I read Twitter
yeah,
has come through. Passerine enjoyers, you guys are gonna love this one. Did Techno play any instruments?
the violin. My boy played the violin in middle school and high school, and he was good. Um, yeah, he took regular lessons. He was in orchestra at school, and he was pretty amazing.
First chair, wasn't
And
he?
he was um, at his high school. And it was a kind of a wild thing watching him play because he would, you'd see him up on stage, he's playing violin in front of 500 people. He looked so miserable. Always looked like he wanted to die. I don't know what that was. I think that maybe that's like some variation on resting bitch face or something, but he just always looked so unhappy when he was playing the violin in front of people. But he played it and he played it and he played it for years. And we have a piano in our living room. And every so often he would be like, I'm gonna see how this piano thing works. And he would sit down, he would kind of like start to play. Like, I don't want to be too, creating like fake myths and legends about my boy, but he never had a piano lesson, and yet he would kind of periodically sit down at the piano and manage to play a song passably well. Um, that was pretty cool. Uh, and he started tooling around with composing, and I remember um, one lesson that he had where he brought some music he'd written to his music teacher, and I think his music teacher was feeling a little bit of like, oh, that's cute. You wrote something, so it's like a little violin, little thing for violin, and he's like, well, it's a duet for violin and viola. So that was the sort of thing he was doing, just kind of off the top of his head. Yeah. At
Uh,
some point, he stopped somewhere going off to college, I think.
Chat wants to know if there's any recordings of him playing.
I know. I know. I wonder. I don't think there are. Guys, if I'd have known, I would have just like made a hat with a video camera and just put the hat on and worn it for like the last 10 years. So hindsight is 2020. Yeah.
Well, how would you have known?
How would I have known? So there you go.
Uh,
I will also say, I mean, I'm pretty chipper right now, and I'm pretty chipper most days, most of the time. Pretty glad, pretty happy, a pretty happy person. I like to keep a very positive outlook and so forth and so on. But there's a lot of stuff I'm not ready to do. And like going scraping through his hard drive trying to find sheet music. I'm not ready for that. Someone asks, technodad, do you think you'll ever become a full-time YouTuber? I think it's quite possible. I can't even tell you how much ridiculous fun I had making a lot of the stuff that I've been doing lately. I'm having an insane amount of fun right now as a Virgo, he said, slipping in an answer to another question. Um,
What?
someone asked my sign. I'm a Virgo. What do you do? And away we go. Reading list. I'm going to plug a single book. The book is Creatures of Light and Darkness by Roger Zelazny. I'll do another picture.
If you want another book, Station 11 is life-changing. Someone asked technodad, can you play any instruments?
Not really. I plunk around on the harmonica every once in a while. I absolutely cannot sing. I'm so bad. Which is weird because I'm married to someone who
Can sing.
that's just so understating it though. Oh yeah, Demeter, yeah, she can sing, you know. She can put
Demeter
some
can
notes
do
together.
like arias.
Yeah.
Oh, I should keep up our trend of seeing if Demeter has anything she wants to say to the people. Um, what are you trying to figure out how to send something?
No, I just you
Can Pixie sing? Absolutely not. She's tone deaf.
I okay, so you guys know the hallway that the dog runs up the hallway. It's Alex's only short, his only YouTube short. So that's a hallway just outside where we are here. So here's a picture. Earlier I was talking about the new TVs that look like art. So I took a photo of myself in the cooking with techno whatever kitchen with the panda hat on, and then I uploaded it so it would look like a piece of art, which it doesn't especially. And then I took a picture of the lobby. That's the lobby for this studio, and you can see the hallway the dog ran up over on the side.
Sending you a thing in DMs because I just got it from Newberry, but it's art of you.
Yes,
I just sent that to
yes,
you.
I am art.
It's from Newberry. I think they drew it right now.
Wait, what? I think I kind of didn't. Okay, if I click on you, no, I can do it over here. And then,
Yeah. Here, I'll share with the class
oh,
too.
look at that. It's me in the chat. Oh, I love it. I love it. He's beautiful. Now I got to figure out how to get back to where I was. Oh, there I am. That wasn't too bad. So I have a cat and a dog. The dog is Floof and the cat is Pumpkin. So I don't know. They were just like, I was in my bedroom and they were both looking at me. And I thought, that's kind of cute and maybe a little bit creepy. So I just snapped a photo of it. There they are, the two of them, giving me the eye. Meow. So the other day,
Hello.
hello, who's
Did I,
there?
I fixed it. Oh my god.
What was fixed? What was
Oh, I was
broken?
talking. I was trying to see if you wanted a new question, and you just kept saying things.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Um, People want to know, what do you think of Tallulah?
Oh, uh, Fresco's just joined us. Um, that's funny. Now his pumpkin's got someone to hang out with. Um, Tallulah is the
Egg I
egg.
showed you. Yeah.
It's the egg. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tallulah is the egg. I need to. Oh, somebody has a blue-eyed Siberian Husky. Oh, I love Siberian Huskies. Um, what was I saying? I don't know Tallulah all that well. I've just been introduced to the idea of Tallulah very recently, and I hope to learn more.
I
So,
can make that happen.
looking forward to more Tallulah stuff.
I have been fixated on Tallulah for the last 3 weeks. I can tell you anything you want to know.
I had a husky growing up. That was my dog growing up. Someone wants to know advice for if they have an exam coming up. My advice is go to bed early. Get a lot of sleep. You're going to be so much sharper if you've had a good night's sleep than if you stay up all night studying. Sleep. That's my advice.
I have two options for you. Do you want a life advice question, or do you want to know what Demeter has to say to the people?
Oh, let's start with Demeter and then let's do life advice stuff.
Okay. Demeter said, I can't listen. Boo. Sending love and compassion to my amazing husband, Proton Pixie, and the incredible fan base. I don't know why she included me there, but. And then
What?
the life advice question is, do you have tips for handling and managing ADHD?
Yes, I do. Because I have attention problems myself. Wait, what was the question again? No,
Do you need it again?
no, I don't.
Okay.
I mean, I have actually asked that question in earnest like 4 times in the last hour and a half. So that shows you that that's not exactly, yeah. Anyway, tips for managing your attention. I will mention sleep again. Go to sleep at a regular time, get up at a regular time, do what you can to keep your sleep very regular. That's really hard to do in the modern era, and I'm not very good at it. But if someone asks when is regular, it doesn't matter when regular is. If you go to bed consistently at 2 a.m. and get up at 10 a.m., great. If you go to sleep at 9 p.m. and do that consistently, that's fine. It's like just listen to your body, go to bed when you get sleepy, and be consistent about it. That's one thing. Another thing is like your phone is killing you, is killing your attention. I am not great with this. It's like if I have 10 seconds with nothing to do, oh, I want to pull my phone out and play a phone game. That's not good for your attention span. Um, best to get out of that habit. Which is not to say don't use your phone, and it's totally not to say don't spend screen time, but it's like don't spread it, a thick layer of it on every part of your life. I've gone through periods where like I can't go to the bathroom without pulling my phone out. I can't like I go to the door to let the dog into the backyard. I let the dog in the backyard. He's going to be back in 45 seconds. I pull my phone out. Let's look at what's going on Reddit. That is not good for your attention span. If you want to do Reddit, go find a place, sit down, read Reddit for 2 hours, and then stop. But don't have it be this constant stop start thing that messes with your ability to focus on anything for a long period of time. Another thing that's great for attention is Adderall. Please get it legally.
Oh my God.
And probably the biggest thing, or Ritalin, different drugs work different ways for different people. So, find what's right for you.
Please medicate responsibly.
Yes.
Medicate responsibly, legally, and consult with healthcare professionals.
And, they've been looking at this in recent years, and it turns out that people who don't actually have ADHD, that when they take Adderall, it's just speed for them. It does not help their attention. They might feel like it does because now they're taking speed, but it doesn't help their attention. So finally, don't use drugs at all is not bad advice. But
please, chat, I cannot stress this enough. Go to a licensed healthcare professional.
Yes, there's really no excuse.
We're gonna get shut down.
I know, whatever. But though I saved the best one for last. I saved the big one for last. And that is mindfulness meditation. It's cheap. It doesn't even take very much time. It's not something that you have to particularly be skillful or brilliant or learn techniques in order to I'm not saying I have a problem with attention or anything, but Icy was just asking me about sweet corn on the chat, and I feel like I want to talk about that now.
Yeah, Icy, why? Girl.
But stand by. Mindfulness meditation. Sit somewhere comfortable. You don't need to close your eyes. The Soto Zen tradition has you half close your eyes, so you stay present in the world. You're not trying to escape from the world. And just think about your breath. Put your attention on the fact that I'm breathing in, I'm breathing in, I'm breathing in. Breathe in, hold, breathe out, breathe out, breathe out, breathe out. The briefest of pauses, and then start it again. And count how long it takes. Breathe as slowly as is comfortable. Don't goose it so you're starving yourself of oxygen, but just slowly breathe in, hold, slowly breathe out, and you will start thinking about Naruto. Oh, remember that episode where, and as soon as you notice that you're thinking about Naruto, go, oh, no, wait, I'm going to think about my breathing instead. Gently. Don't go, oh, God, why did I do? No, don't do that. Just go, oh, I'm thinking about something external. I'm going to bring my attention back to my breathing and breathe in and hold it and breathe out. If you do that 5 minutes a day, 5 minutes a day, it will change your relationship with your attention span. And if you work your way up and eventually you get to, I don't know, 20 minutes 3 times a week or something, that will do even more. It's crazy how effective that is, not only for attention, but also for things like anxiety. Procrastination even. It's not great for procrastination, but I've found it makes a difference.
In case there are some chatters of the autism persuasion, sometimes, and I am autistic personally, I struggle with that a lot, but sometimes I found the reason that it's hard to focus is because you're understimulated. So having things that you can do peripherally or finding ways that you can control the amount of stimulation that you're receiving from your environment, fantastic. Earplugs, there's this brand called Loops that like block out background noise only. So you can hear people talking, just not like stuff. Anyway, did you want to talk about sweet corn?
My favorite is white corn. I
Oh
really
my
like
god.
white corn. It's so tasty. It seems like the yellower, like the deeper the yellow it is, the more it's like, I don't know, like a little bland, maybe a little. It's like a cliche version of corn, whereas white corn at least is like doing something a little different. Um,
I just want you to know that B just texted me. He says, "Man's talking about breathing when my lungs suck is rude."
fair with no period.
What's your favorite vegetable in general?
Lately, don't hate me. Brussels sprouts. It turns out uh, you like Demeter does this thing where you take like Brussels sprouts, or I do this too a bunch. Um, you take that smoked paprika from the Cooking with Technoblade video, maybe like a little bit of oil. It could be just olive oil, or you can use something like um, sesame oil. One or two other spices. Just try some different things to see how you feel about it. And salt. Toss, toss, toss. Throw it on a sheet, just like I did the bacon in the Cooking with Mr. Technodad video. Take a cookie sheet, sheet liner, throw the Brussels sprouts on there, and cook them until it looks like you cooked them too much. And they're so good. They're so good. Even my kids will eat them. And they're just stupid full of vegetables.
Also, honey sauce on savory cooked Brussels sprouts is like just absolutely delightful. Uh, Technodad, do you have any stories about you when you were younger and did stupid stuff and advice you learned from it? That's from Ash. Ash, I don't know if you're still here, but thank you for the question.
Uh, Stupid stories from my childhood. It's tough because I feel like like, I feel like my childhood was like one long mistake. But mostly not my fault so much. So it's kind of hard to, it's like, it doesn't make a good story if it's like not, if my agency isn't involved. Um, when I was maybe 8 years old, I I love to climb trees. I love climbing trees. I probably don't anymore. I haven't tried that in a long time, and I probably wouldn't enjoy it so much at this point. But young me just loved to go up in a tree all the time. And there were some huge birch trees in our yard in the house where I grew up, and I would climb them. They did not have many low down branches, so it was sort of a challenge to get started. And so what I would do is there was like a stepping stone, a flagstone nearby in the garden, and I would pick that thing up. And wrestle it over to where a tree was, lean it up against the tree, and then I could like, so it's like mostly sideways now, right? And it's like just like a 2-inch kind of thing I could get a little bit of foot purchase on, and then I could jump up and catch the lowest big branch, and then like lean backwards and try to get my legs around that branch also, so I could pull myself up. And one time when I was about 8, I was doing this maneuver, and I just fell out of the tree, and the back of my head hit the flagstone and uh, split it in two. And I don't know if you know this about like cuts on your head, but the blood goes everywhere. And I was screaming my head off, and my parents came running out to see what was going on. And I had this huge cut on the back of my head. And I'm just getting to the point where my hair loss is progressed far enough that that scar is visible now. I don't know. That's not a great story, but what did I learn? Don't fall out of trees.
Baby fall down, crash.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Um, so I had a great big Amazon box that I was going to try to put in the recycling. And as I was manhandling it, I was thinking to myself, who would really like this box is Pumpkin. And I started to realize that if I cut it up so it would lie flat, then Pumpkin couldn't enjoy it anymore. So I thought, what if instead of cutting it up for recycling, what if I put a door? What if I put a little kitty cat door? And then I had because what Pumpkin does when like the whole family is watching TV and Floof is aggressively trying to wedge himself in between me and Demeter, is Pumpkin will always like be there with us, but hiding. Like he wants to be there, but he doesn't want us to know that he's there. So he'll be somewhere way off to the side or like immediately behind the couch. You have to really crane your neck to figure out where he is or whatever. But why don't I put this box right by the TV, and I'll make it so enticing that he won't be able to resist. So that's like the second or third. I did this just like 2 days ago, and that's him climbing in the box from like last night, I think it was. I think I took that last night.
Do you want another question?
One sec. Wait a minute. What am I doing?
Very true. He's more of a father figure than my own dad. Kind of turns sad. Realest thing you've ever said.
There's another angle on the same thing. Okay, new question. Let's go.
Do you want an easy one, or do you want like a kind of a funky storytelling one?
Funky storytelling, and then easy. No, let's do the easy one first. Let's do the easy one first. We'll knock it out. Then
Okay.
funky storytelling, and then there'll be a
Okay.
long pause, and then you'll say, "Do you want another question? What are you doing?" This is weird.
Okay. Are you an iced or a hot tea person?
I am a hot tea person. I like, believe it or not, I like tea Earl Grey hot.
Yeah.
And that's what I was drinking before Next Generation came out. So Picard is copying me. But I have, at various points in my life, I have been to the South a fair bit. And when I am in the South, um, sweet tea is cultural there, and it certainly tastes good. And they actually know how to make it. Whereas if you're in California and you order sweet tea, they'll take your tea and put a bunch of ice cubes in your glass and then put the sugar on it so that it's crunchy, which doesn't work. Earl Grey, English breakfast. What happened to my tongue? Earl Grey, English breakfast, chamomile on occasion, etc.
I love how this was supposed to be like a iced tea or hot tea, and you were supposed to be like, oh, hot tea, and then we could have gone. Every question is a storytelling question. I don't know why I lost my mind for a
I
second.
I'm a blabbermouth. There is no question. I love to chat.
Um, Question. So going off, this is somebody going off their previous question. If you were to join others in an SMP with lore, what would you have your lore be? Would you be like an adventurer, or like what would you do?
How many times am I allowed to answer this question?
Until you give me an answer that I like.
Oh, I'd hate to have to stop the first time I came up with an answer you liked. All right. So, temperamentally and as far as like where I am in my life, I feel like I would be like the Obi-Wan Kenobi character or the Uncle Iroh, the person who isn't necessarily the most active or whatever kind of person, but who is has lots of life experience to give advice to the young people. Is kind of what I end up doing. So that's one thought. Um, then another part of me wants to say, okay, just main character. Everything should be about me. I should be the main character, and uh, the story should be about what happens to me. I have something like, uh, will he or won't he get the girl? That's the big question. Like a story about Demeter's been kidnapped by a dragon or whatever. I don't know, and I have to go get her back.
Demeter has been
um,
kidnapped by me. We just went to lunch. um.
Fair.
Oh, here's one. How do you typically cook salmon?
Salmon can be cooked every different way, but I'm a huge fan of get a frying pan, I put it on the stove, a little bit of oil, and then I throw stuff in there. In this case, salmon. Mm, it's good cooked in butter as well, like a pat of butter with dill. That's pretty good. Um, or mango salsa. The first time Demeter came to the house, we made salmon with a mango salsa. Um, or on a plank in the oven is good, or grilled. Like
Real.
take it outside in the back and throw it on the grill.
Here's another question. How did you figure out that Santa wasn't real? Oh, sorry, chat. How did um I really hope Smaller's not here. How did you figure out that no one has ever actually seen?
Can we just like hit the back 1 minute button and then just I don't know. Just we should maybe leave that one alone.
Yeah, anyway, never.
Moving on. Another picture. Look over here.
picture, guys. Go look. Go look at the picture.
And let me just point out milk in a wine glass.
Have you considered mixing milk and wine to create legendary Wilk?
I'm gonna try that now.
Following up, if you mix milk and fireball, you get fire bilk.
Milk and wine. I don't know. That does not sound like it would be good, but you never know with things. You put two tastes together and you never know what you're going to get. Sometimes it's awful and sometimes it's great. There's a tapas place that I love, and you can get guacamole with smoked salmon in it. And doesn't that just sound kind of terrible? And it is so good. It's so good. Carbonated chicken soup.
Who is that
Uh,
question for? Oh, do you have any dad jokes?
I haven't prepared anything. Uh, uh, Pass. I don't want to do a bad job with a dad joke. And
You should tell him the Mandalorian one you told me.
oh,
Do you not remember?
you're gonna have to just send me a DM
Okay.
with a couple of more details
Okay.
for me to remember it. And I'll post a pumpkin picture. Uh, Pumpkin, by and large, spends his day. You got to give me more than that, Pixie. Um,
I
although
don't know.
it's jogging my memory now, but I still don't.
I don't know how. I don't know what else to. I don't know how else to remind you.
Okay, I don't remember how it went exactly, but we were talking about the Mandalorian, and it was something like. Uh, it was something like how capricious they've been with the whole question of who's actually the main character of this show. And it's like, is it Boba Fett? Is it Bo-Katan? Who is the main character? I don't even know anymore. And the fact that I'm not certain is kind of din jarring.
I was walking in Starbucks. I was in Starbucks and I went, ugh, and I didn't respond. And then he goes, "Can I have like a laugh, a pff, a groan, anything?" Do you plan on doing any
what
IRL
what's
meetups?
what's brown and sticky? A stick. That I got to tell you, I remember that one from kindergarten, and I went to kindergarten in the 1960s.
What?
That joke has been around forever.
1960.
Yeah, like 67. That's
What?
that's when I was in kindergarten. That's when I was learning my ABCs.
What?
I'm
Weird.
old.
I know you're old.
I am so old.
Guys, you have no idea is that I spend a ton of my time, like a lot of the time I'm on the phone. I'm on the phone with technodad, and people are like, "Oh my gosh, is that one of your friends?" And I'm like, "Yeah, if you kind of 61-year-old man."
Ugh.
um B says mood. I know, B. Do. What is your
Okay.
favorite video game?
Oh. Hmm. That's tough. I've played an awful lot of various versions of Civilization in my time. I have an appalling number of hours in Team Fortress 2 as Demo Man and NG. They're kind of like the reverse of each other. The Demo Man takes out the NG, so it's good to know. Um, yeah, I got to do something with TF2. I don't know what. I mean, I have an unusual hat, for goodness sake. I bought my son Alex. Uh, 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 what's the bow the sniper uses? I'm sure somebody knows. Huntsman, yes. There's some version of the Huntsman that's like really obscure. This is like a very, very rare to have like a strange huntsman, maybe, or the weapons aren't unusual. I haven't played that much in the last few years. I've starting to lose it, but it's like getting strange weapons for all kinds of weapons pretty easy. But the strange huntsman for some reason was really, really rare. And one birthday, I got what I got Alex for his birthday was a strange huntsman. I think it was like $100 or something. It's not even a real thing. Um, yeah, Demo Man and NG. Uh, no one really uses the Huntsman, so that's probably why. Yeah, you should have seen Alex with a Huntsman because you just get a little glimpse of him and you're dead now. That kid. Good Lord.
Have you seen Over the Garden Wall?
Yes.
What did you think of that show?
I really enjoyed it a lot. It had me on the edge of my seat. Like, what is going to happen? What's going on? What is going to happen next? And I definitely did like it, and but then I haven't gone back to it in my head that much. So why is that?
I think about it every day.
It was great. I mean, it was beautifully executed, very imaginative, very satisfying. I have nothing to complain about it.
I liked that it was like an anthology of stories.
Yeah.
Which little story section do you think was your favorite from that show?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay.
I'm terrible at what is your favorite X question.
What is your
Uh,
favorite color?
Blue.
What is your favorite? Who is your favorite, me or Icy?
You're both terrible. What did Grunkle Stan say at the very end of what is the exact quote he said? You kids are terrible and I'm glad you're going. Something like that. That's my answer.
Is Grunkle Stan?
Gravity Falls.
Okay. What's your favorite song currently?
Oh boy. Astor Piazzolla, Libertango.
What?
Can I dump a link? Can I just like copy and paste
Yeah,
the
you can
YouTube
put it
link?
in the technodad
Okay.
posts.
Everybody, 1,000 people just sit here and do nothing for the next couple of minutes while I try to navigate YouTube. That seems like a good use
Do
of
you want me to talk?
um, and take away my thunder?
Yes.
Sure, yeah.
You know that's the only reason I work for you.
I do.
How do I not know Gravity Falls? I don't watch a lot of TV. I'm a big being outside with a stick kind of person.
That's
So I didn't watch a lot of TV growing up, and I never really got in the habit of watching it. Icy just DM'd me saying Icy is Dipper, Pixie is Mabel, and Technodad is Grunky Stan.
yeah, absolutely.
What is a Mabel?
Mabel Pines is one of the twins.
Is that a nice thing to say?
I don't know. I guess it kind of depends on how you feel about Mabel.
Okay.
Did the picture of the kitchen come through? I can't tell.
Chat, can you see the kitchen? In the technodad post.
Okay. Well, anyway, I just posted a link to a particular performance of Libertango. It's a piece of tango music from some decades ago. It is an extraordinary piece of music. An extraordinary piece of music. Um, it's not necessarily something you want to listen to while you're trying to do some other thing. It wants your attention. But if you got a few minutes, holy cow.
What are your thoughts on My Chemical Romance?
I'm not super familiar with them, but I do like Umbrella Academy a lot.
I remember finding out that Umbrella Academy was like created by the guy who did My Chemical Romance, like on a stage like this.
Yeah, that was me. I
Yeah, you
have
told me that.
my brain, I don't know why, but my brain I'm like I have a good subset of IMDb in my head and lots of pop culture stuff from Wikipedia, and I make all these bizarre connections from all these things. And so I have all these weird little factoids. And somewhere I'm going to make some videos that's just me spinning weird factoids like that and trying to make a story out of it. We'll see if anybody tunes in. I don't know if there's a market for it, but I love that stuff. Did you know that Ferb was on Game of Thrones?
You tell us how Ferb was on Game of Thrones.
Yes, all the time.
Have you seen the new Mario movie?
I haven't. I had a choice to go see a movie recently, and it was down to Mario or the D&D movie. And frankly, the Mario showing was not convenient. So we went to the D&D movie. And holy cow, it was great. Yes, Ferb was on Game of Thrones. I
Do you want
kid
to
you not.
do you want to tell them the background of that, or do you
Do
want
I
to save
even
it for a video?
remember Game of Thrones? Because I was like, I stopped watching Game of Thrones halfway through season 8 because I couldn't see it. Like I would put it up on the screen and there's nothing there. It's just like supposed to be nighttime, so we're gonna just have it be dark. And I remember dragons. I remember in season 8, episode 3, there's supposed to be a lot of dragons, but you can't see them. So dark. Um, and I feel like so they've got a new spin-off of Game of Thrones now, and it's like I'm not going to watch it until HBO apologizes to me for season 8. If I don't get an apology where they take responsibility for what they did, admit that the cinematography was terrible, and explain in detail why they're not going to do that again, I'm not watching. Thomas Brody Sangster was Ferb, and he was Newt in the Maze Runner, and he was the guy who followed Bran around for a while before he whatever.
That's well, everybody's in Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. Everyone is in Game of Thrones. Yeah.
Technodad for Game of Thrones 2023. A bunch of people are asking if you're familiar with any of Lovejoy's music.
I mean the big. So I got to talk to Wilbur for the first time, not too long ago, which was a I want to say a joy, but that's not a reference to the band name. It was just a joy. Period. I like him a lot. He was very entertaining. We talked about GeoGuessr and geography stuff. That was fun. He was on a bus driving from one city in Poland to another because he's a rock star. Wilbur is a rock star. I was talking on the phone with a rock star. So,
You should ask
I
him about
haven't
Tallulah.
I haven't listened to a ton of Lovejoy. I've just started to listen to Lovejoy. He and I talked about the Killers because I'm a little more familiar with them. But I did tell him that when Your New Boyfriend came out, the song with the title, quote, Your New Boyfriend, unquote, which is not a Lovejoy song. It's a Wilbur solo thing, if I understand correctly. I did tell him that when that song came out, I told Alex, tell Wilbur I really like your song. And I said, I'm pretty sure he didn't. Yeah, we also talked about, okay, emotional corner here. The thing about the connection with Alex and that one Killer's song had come out a few months earlier, and when I spoke to Wilbur, he was saying that really touched him, knowing that Alex had made that connection to a band that he had been. Someone in chat saying, "Wow, my life is so boring." That's yeah. I've been a perfectly ordinary person my entire life, and now I am like getting phone calls from rock stars. So it's totally surreal. Wilbur had seen that had gone out somewhere, and he said that had really touched him because he had been talking up the Killers to Alex for years, and he wasn't sure if it had ever landed. And he was saying how much he admired the Killers, and we talked about them a little bit, and Mr. Brightside and whatever else. And I told him something, and I'm going to tell you all now. All of you will now be tied for second place as far as being the second people ever to hear this, because it's something that nobody else knows. And I told Wilbur on our call, but for various reasons, I had occasion to go through Alex's YouTube history. And so he was playing. God, I can't get it out. He was playing that song Exit Lute again and again during his last week, over and over. So it's a good song.
It's a yeah.
What,
Do you
what
want
if
a
we?
minute?
What if we did? No, because nobody saw the kitchen. I feel like nobody saw the kitchen. Like, I'm just gonna put the kitchen out again.
You guys gotta go look at the pictures that he sends. Tell him what you think. He's just a dad who wants to show his kids stuff.
Yeah. All right. Everybody is seeing the kitchen now. I feel confident that people are actually seeing the kitchen. So that's the kitchen from Cooking with Technoblade, which is also, of course, the kitchen from Cooking with Technodad. And That's a angle that doesn't appear in any of the videos. Sort of further away, you can see where I had my sound person sitting in the center front. And you can see the gigantic studio fridge. It's not the Mr. Beast fridge. I'm sorry. It's a lame second place, but that's the studio fridge. And in the center, it's not super visible unless you zoom it, but the metal tables that all of the various bits of cooking took place on. So that's my kitchen. That's the studio kitchen. Yeah, and in the very center front, you can see the zoom. What is that? An H6 or something that we did the audio recording on. And honestly, it's not that interesting of a picture, but it was a good distraction, I thought.
Song that we were just talking about is Exit Lude by The Killers.
Yeah.
Truly. It's a fantastic song, but it stings a little.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's see if Twitter has given me anything else. Other than Exit Lude, what's your favorite song by The Killers? Do you have one?
I like that song. I mean, Mr. Brightside, of course, is awesome. That one about to answer Icy's question 19.
Ooh, what sort of, because you gave everybody in the Techno fam a Greek code name. What Greek stories do you like the best?
Oh, what Greek mythology do I like? Well, of course, the golden apple story is great. I know Alex loved that one. Any story where Zeus is being a philandering piece of crap and turns himself or someone else into some animal, and then the calamity ensues for everyone. Those are always good cautionary tales.
Do you think that you could tell us one of the stories?
Oh gosh.
Because Icy can take it and turn it into a technodad tells a bedtime story.
Okay, somebody write that down. Strawberry, write that down, and we'll do that. But I don't want to. Oh man. Favorite time period besides Greek history? Well, World War II is crazy exciting to read about, but of course, it's a nonstop horror show that we would never want to think of as anything other than a cautionary tale. What else? Other periods in history. The Persian Empire, Persians versus the Greeks. Yeah. Wow. What an amazing period of time. I remember a story where some kid in the Persian court was did something terrible, and the king was like, all right, I'm gonna put you to death. And his mom was like, no, 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 please. I tell you what, why don't we, here's my alternative idea. What if have him circumnavigate Africa? I'm gonna get a big ship, I'm gonna put my son on the ship, and he's gonna be the captain, and we're gonna circumnavigate Africa and then come back. And that'll be his punishment, and then you'll pardon him. And the king was like, yeah, okay. So the kid takes off down the east coast of Africa, and he got as far as, I don't know, Zanzibar or something. And then he was like, this is too hard. So he turned around and came home, and then the king executed him. And it's like, boomers like to say how kids these days are lazy. I don't know what the connection is exactly, but it feels like there's some kind of connection in there. L, yes. L, indeed. Indeed.
Look at the
Uh,
chat, guys.
both Techno and I were crazy in love with Greek mythology. I wouldn't know how to compare them. We would sometimes talk about it on the drive to high school. Favorite food. I love to say I like anything wrapped in salmon or salmon wrapped in anything. So my favorite food is probably, boy, did I say that wrong.
What did you
And
say?
let's just pretend I did not say anything at all. I'm going to start over again.
Okay.
Anything wrapped in a pastry or salmon wrapped in anything. So my favorite food is possibly salmon en croûte. So good. I do love cheese. Yes, the cheese did arrive. It's in my fridge. Have I ever had schnitzel? Yes. Salmon wrapped in salmon. I think that's where I was going.
Salmon wrapped in
Uh,
salmon.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna. My favorite cheese right now is brie, but it changes like annually. You know, it just changes all the time because you.
Brie is the realest thing you've ever said.
Yeah, brie en croûte is amazing. Like just just like buy those frozen sheets of pastry dough, so you don't have to do anything. Get a wheel of brie, bring it home, slather some raspberry jam on it or strawberry jam. Wrap it up in that pastry, stick it in the oven. I'm not sure how long. The internet will tell you. And oh my Lord. I love, as far as movies go, I'm a big science fiction fan. I'm a big Trekkie. I certainly watch all the Star Wars stuff, but I don't, strictly speaking, it's not science fiction. He said, actually, pushing his glasses back up on his nose. Actually. Um, and there's three great science fiction movies from the 1950s. They are The Day the Earth Stood Still, which is straight up hard science fiction. Um, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, amazing film. And uh, the winner of all of them, Forbidden Planet, which is based on Shakespeare's The Tempest, put in a science fiction motif. It is an extraordinary film and one that I made sure to sit down with Alex and watch, for us to watch together, um, just as soon as uh, was he was old enough. At which point we had already worked our way through the remastered version of original Star Trek. Someone keeps
Which
asking if I've seen the Lord of the Rings films. What do you think?
Someone wants to know what
Uh,
your favorite Star Wars film is.
oh, well, Empire, right? I mean, is that a hard question? It's almost like mandatory that you say Empire.
Attack of the
Empire,
Clones.
Empire is great. I can never remember the prequels' names in order. It's a Revenge of the Clones of the Sith of the something.
Attack of
Phantom
the
Menace.
Clones.
Phantom Menace is the first one, and then what are the next two?
Then it's Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, and then the other one that comes after the Clone Wars. Revenge of the Sith. Thanks, guys.
Sorry, say that again. There's three prequels.
Yes. So it's Phantom Menace, Attack of the
Yep.
Clones, and
Attack of the
then
Clones.
Clone Wars, and then Revenge of the Sith.
But so Clone Wars is not part of the prequel trilogy. It came like
No, Clone Wars is just a
later.
show,
Yeah.
but it breaches like the entirety of Clone
Sure.
Wars.
Ashoka Tano and all that stuff. Yeah.
Ahsoka.
Whatever.
No, I love her.
You can't put an H and an S together like that in that order and expect a boomer to be able to deal with it.
My DMs are open. If you have art that you want to make sure that he sees during the stage, that's the best way to get it to me. But I will close out anything else.
So the third one was Revenge of the Sith. So when the prequel trilogy came out, everybody hated it. Everybody was like, "Oh, it's terrible! You've ruined my childhood. Oh, it's so bad." And I was just like, I figured that was what everybody would think about it forever. And then I didn't pay attention, and 15 years go by, and everybody's like, "Which do you like better, the original trilogy or the prequels?" And everyone's like, "Wow, the prequels are so good, though." And I'm like, "What happened? What happened?" Because let's be honest, Phantom Menace, it's not great. It's not great. It's not terrible, but it's not great. But Revenge of the Sith, even back when everybody was saying the entire prequel trilogy was terrible, I always used to say, Revenge of the Sith, though, it's not a bad film. It's got a lot going for it.
In the Star Wars universe, what sort of person do you think you would be? Like Mandalorian, Jedi, Sith?
I would be that guy who buys spaceship parts and sells them at a markup.
I would be a Mandalorian. You'd be Watto?
Yeah.
Own young Anakin Skywalker? Wow.
No. That was my joke answer, and I stand by it. I think that's a solid joke.
Hey, you want to buy some death sticks?
Yeah, that guy. You're going to go home and rethink your life, whatever it is. That's I think possibly my favorite moment in the prequels. It's young Ben Kenobi giving that guy some life advice. It's just a fabulous moment. I have to drink some water now. I'm gonna choke.
Okay. You ever thought of making a podcast? Yes, he's working on something similar.
Yeah. So what is the difference between this and a podcast? Is it
There's
like
nothing.
me being organized? Is that the
No,
difference?
there's no difference. Since we're recording the audio from this is technically a live podcast.
Yeah. So whatever. I have
Yeah.
I have things I want to talk about, and one might come out relatively soon, especially since I've now had the experience of cooking with Mr. Technodad in the shotgun style. But I want to talk about like weird ideas people have about parasocial relationships, which I think people's ideas about them are not especially helpful. So maybe I can give some perspective on that. Favorite Marvel movie? Ooh. I don't know. Age of Ultron, maybe.
Mm-hmm. I'm
James
I'll
Spader as Ultron was just amazing.
I'll parasocial your relationship.
Uh, Spider-Man 2 also is great.
Speaking of parasocial relationships, somebody asked you a question that I think would be good to help establish boundaries. Is it okay if they call you dad? I think
Um,
that was whoever it was that just asked that. Shout something so I can see who you are.
I
Nice.
I don't see why not.
Jazzoline.
Is that Am I not supposed to say yes? I've already told everyone I'm adopting them. I don't see why I should draw the line at calling me dad.
Watch me delete things. Okay. Favorite
Yeah.
Breaking Bad season?
So someone's saying Liam Neeson is great in Phantom Menace. Yes, Liam Neeson is great in everything, but that still doesn't mean that Phantom Menace was a great film or anything. What color lightsaber would I have? Oof.
Purple. I think you would have purple.
Cerulean blue, I'm going to go
Oh.
with.
Artemis out here with the brown. Your lightsaber would be poopy brown.
I like it. Yeah, I don't know. I would want to be like a Starfleet science officer. That's what I would want to be. I want to be Spock. If you're asking 15-year-old me, that's my answer. Okay, here's the thing. I know it is one of the greatest television shows of all time, but I have not watched Breaking Bad. It's just I just feel like I'm just not up to that. I'm not up to it.
Somebody just said what's brown and sticky? His
Yes.
lightsaber.
That's nice. Do you believe Cars 2 was worse than Cars 1? I actually haven't seen Cars 2, but I totally believe it was worse. I don't know. Wouldn't
Oh,
surprise me.
here's a good question. What was your motivation coming to the social media?
We're talking about yeah, okay. So we're talking about like after the thing I did where I was on Dreams.
Yeah, and just like coming back and talking to people on Reddit and stuff like that.
Yeah. So it kind of stems from what Persephone said to me as I stepped off the stream with Dream. Like, that is like Dream was here in the studio, and between the two of us, we set up the camera and just okay, we're streaming now. And I had like a couple of black chairs, so that was just really thrown together. And then I it was it was really, for me, it was really good to get a lot of that stuff out, to tell those stories and so forth. And of course, I told the story that the punchline is "Baby Fall Down Crash," which is one of my all-time favorite stories about Alex. And as we stepped off the stream, Persephone came over, gave me a hug, because the whole thing was very emotional, and she said, "Baby Fall Down Crash is trending on Twitter." And I was like, "What? What? I don't get it, because I still don't feel like a lot of this stuff still does not feel real to me. Like, why are hundreds of thousands of people watching me make a pancake? That does not make any logical sense." But based on what I was hearing from folks, because I had talked a little bit about the Technoblade subreddit on the stream. And based on what I heard from Persephone about how Twitter had reacted to the whole thing, I was like, well, because for the 6 months prior, I was just completely unable to visit the Technoblade sub for obvious reasons. So I thought, why don't I check in and see what's happening over there, rather than go to Twitter, which I don't understand at all. But Reddit, the way everything works, kind of makes sense to me. So I went to the Technoblade sub, and I saw mourning. I saw a community in mourning. Everyone was so sad. Space nerd. Everyone was so sad. And my heart went out. People were hurting, and I my I mean my heart was breaking for them. And yeah, as somebody writes, "Oh, look at that, it's Kailush." Maybe I got his name right this time. He writes, "Spoiler alert, we're still sad." Yeah, I hear that. I am also still sad. And my life is in motion again. It kind of stopped for a while. We'll always be sad, but we got to stay happy too, writes Mewberry. That's a really good point. We need to live our lives, right? Our lives contain tragedy. And the older you get, the more tragedy you have coming. And our lives are also wonderful and joyous and amazing and incredible. And yeah, Jaggle says, techno told us to live long, prosperous, and happy lives. And that was a great point that he made. And that's what I want to experience for myself. That's what I want for all of you. We can't let our grief drag everything to a stop. And I felt like I was in a position to help people whose lives had come to a stop, whose grief had gotten stuck. And uh, so I realized I needed a persona to speak to the crowd, and the persona needed to be who I was, which is Technoblade's dad. And there were a lot of different names for me at that time, Bloodfather and Technofather and Technodad, and some people called me Mr. Technodad, and all kinds of different names for me. My favorite of the names people had was Technodad. Um, but there was already a Technodad on YouTube. Some people called me Mr. Technodad, and I thought that's almost as good. And that was available. So I snagged it, and I became Mr. Technodad, and I posted, and I started talking to people. And, you know, it helped me a lot. And I felt like I was helping you guys. And how could you not? I mean, look at what I get to do, right? People have problems, people have challenges, and uh, I gotta tell you, we don't support our young people very well. We don't, as a society, we don't give our young people the praise that they need to have to grow up well, to grow up happy about themselves and to be functional. And I grew up starved for praise. And I grew up learning how to do the negative self-talk like I was talking about earlier. And I came to the sub, and there were people who were starved for praise and were struggling with low self-esteem and struggling with grief, and who had learned these patterns of negative self-talk. And it was because we don't raise our young people very well. And I just, it's like I hate that. Someone writes, I am starved for love. Absolutely. I've spent most of my life starved for love. Right now, I'm drowning in love. I have managed to get there uh, through a lot of work. I've done a lot of work. I've done so much therapy and Zen and Aikido and, you know, going to, oh boy, you can't say the Orient anymore. I went to Japan. It doesn't sound as cool, but it's still pretty cool. Um, I'm sorry, I'm a boomer. My idea of what sounds cool is probably completely wrong for the modern age. Anyway, I did a lot of work. I did the Far East. There, I love it. That's good. That's good. I'm going to use that. I did a lot of work, and I felt like I had some good perspective to share, some good techniques. Like earlier, I was talking about mindfulness meditation. Like I've tried a whole lot of things, and plenty of them don't work that well.
Chat.
But we want, my hope is that everyone can learn to love themselves, that everyone can learn happiness and how to find joy. And it's never going to be the case that we're going to get to a place where we're not sad, or like where nothing bad happens to us, or like where we get all of our problems solved. In fact, I love to say this, I am absolutely convinced that when humans live to 1,000 years old, when that's our lifespan, you will be able to talk to any 800-year-old, and that 800-year-old will say, oh my gosh, when I think about the choices I made at 600 years of age, I was just a baby. I was so dumb. I made so many mistakes. The path does not have an end. The path goes on forever. And we might come to an end, but the path does not. So if I've learned something in my 60 years, and I'm not talking about sequel now, if I've learned something in my 60 years of how to live, and how to experience joy, and uh, how to flush out the negativity that that has come into our lives because we don't support our young people very well, then who wouldn't jump all over that? If I can help people, oh my gosh, I so totally want to do that. Yes, I'm 60 years old.
Chat, I'm seeing a lot of you guys saying that you don't believe that you are loved, and I want you to know that that is not true, because, and you can hear technodad say it all you want, but I'll say it because everybody knows I'm kind of a jerk. um but he loves you guys so genuinely much. Like, there are times where he has me review posts so that he can use the right pronouns for people when he responds. There are times when he sends me the art that you guys make and is like, look at how so freaking cool this is. We look at the stuff that you make, and he loves you publicly and he loves you privately. He shares it with Demeter and they talk about it, and like genuinely in any way that like a parent could love a kid who's gone off to college is the way that they love you. So like everything that you believe might be true about him and about the way that he perceives you guys and the way that he interacts with the world is true.
Aw.
I promise you that it is.
So here's a good example So River is in the audience. Hi, River. River wrote, "Sometimes I deny myself love because I haven't felt like it's something I deserve or need, that I haven't earned through work. I am slowly convincing myself that it's wrong, but it's hard." Yes, that is me. That is the old me. I don't deserve love. I haven't earned it yet. I haven't worked hard enough. Okay, no. The minute you were born, the moment you were born, you were worthy of love. You deserved to be loved, and there is no earning it. Love isn't something you earn. Love is your birthright. And that crazy thought, the very first person in line, if we could put them in line, which we can't, but just go with it. The very first person in line who should be loving you is you. And that love should not be conditional. I know so many people who are like, I'll be worthy of love if only I. No, you are worthy of love, period. Now, and every year that you've been alive, you are worthy of love. And I want all of you to love yourselves. Is that hard? Yes. Yes, it is. I'm not saying like, oh, just think about it this way and you'll be fine. No, it doesn't work like that. It is a challenge to get there. I'm still working on it. I still find myself not loving myself sometimes. I'm so much better now than I was. I used to, when I first started wrestling with the idea that I should love myself, I found it laughably ridiculous. Like, not only could I not accept that idea, I couldn't even think about it without laughing because it was so nuts. And I have done a lot of things to try to change my opinion of that. And one of them is looking at myself in the mirror, making eye contact and saying, you are worthy of love. Or at different times, it's been, you deserve to be happy. But every one of you listening and everyone else who isn't listening is worthy of love, deserves to be happy, and I hope as many people as possible can find that for themselves.
It's hard. And sometimes the whole ordeal of being loved by others and yourselves sucks so bad. Sometimes it's like stingy and pokey and awful, but I promise you that it gets better. Take it from your internet older sister. I see you guys more than you know. I read just about everything that you say. I am lurking all the time. I see you, and I promise you, you'll get there. One day you're gonna wake up and you're gonna look around and you're gonna go, holy shit. There is love all over this life of mine. And you're gonna cry a little and you're gonna be like, wow, that's really overwhelming and awful, but then it's gonna settle into your soul and you're gonna feel it there and it's gonna be like a warm coal that just carries you through.
Yeah. I want to speak to something that Samurai Loco wrote in the chat, and I'm not going to repeat it because I don't want to give it any strength. But he says that he does not deserve to be loved, and I want to sharply disagree. You are worthy of love. You deserve to be loved. Period. I read what you wrote about yourself. I am not dissuaded at all. You deserve to be loved.
They think they can scare us off from loving them to bits just because they say that they don't need it. Joke's on you, fools. We're gonna love you anyway.
Straight up. What is my favorite Sun Tzu quote? Probably, if you know your enemy and you know yourself, then you need not fear the results of 1,000 battles, or whatever. It's been translated a bunch of different ways. You have to know yourself and you have to love yourself. Yeah. Yeah.
I would argue that knowing yourself is the hardest part. Because you gotta know the less than stellar things too. And then you have to learn how to not be dissuaded by them. Oh, somebody asked, do any of you do any sports?
I'm not really a sports guy. I like weightlifting, and martial arts. I don't know if those are sports. Are they sports? They're sports adjacent.
That counts. I also weightlift and I box.
Yeah, which is a martial art.
Yeah. It's so funny is because I started working for Technodad and then we like slowly started to realize that we are the same, except if he was like 40 years younger and a woman. Am I wrong?
No, you're not. Someone asked like 45 minutes ago about is Alex's were the legendary quads real? And the answer is yes. And he got them from me because my quads are legendary. Um, you go to the gym. We're going from the sublime to the ridiculous, right? You go to the gym and you see what everybody else is doing in terms of their bench press, and I begin to realize it's like, wow, that is not a good exercise for me. And then you see what everybody else is doing on the leg machines, and it's like, weakness disgusts me. I just needed to get a plug in there for my quads.
I'm glad that you we always gotta plug the quads.
Yes.
Quad reveal?
Someone asking me about toxic relationships.
Ooh, that's a good one.
So we have certain. I can't think of a clever and sophisticated way to say it, so I'll just say we're programmed to think in certain ways. There's just certain ways we're used to thinking in terms of, and one of those things is that we are kind of programmed to think that toxic relationships that we're in aren't so bad. It's not so bad. I can handle it. And the evidence for I can handle it is like, well, I'm not dead, so obviously I can handle it. Toxic relationships do much, much, much more damage to your life than you are probably thinking they do. They are disastrous. And if you have a relationship, if there's someone in your life and you dread them speaking to you, whether you've done anything or not, you're just walking on eggshells around them and you dread whenever they have something to say to you, then the most important thing you can do is cut that person out of your life all the way out forever. Often that is not practical. In situations where it's not practical, the gray rock method is the way to go. Do not engage. Um, I'm getting a little fatigued, so I'm not going to talk about the gray rock method, but if you Google the gray rock method, you will find lots of useful stuff written about it.
Do you want to take a stretch break?
That's funny. It's the second before you said that, I started stretching.
Everybody, take a stretch break. Touch your toes. Stretch your shoulders.
What have I got going today? Am I like missing a business meeting or something?
Let me look at your calendar.
I'm joking. You guys all going to watch Libertango when you have a chance, right? Where's my calendar?
You do have a thing in 10 minutes.
Oh, that's fine. I don't need to do that today.
Okay.
That was mostly a joke. My Friday is pretty clear.
Okay. You've been standing the entire chat? Kudos to you. Let's see. What would you suggest to people who are just starting to work out to get into the whole like physical fitness for mental health?
Well, okay, the the best advice is kind of meta advice. Like, I want to tell you what works for me, but what works for me doesn't necessarily matter because maybe it doesn't work for you. The best meta advice is try different kinds of exercise until you find the one that speaks for you. Like, I really don't like running. I just don't like it. It's not an activity that my body works well with. It goes straight to all of my weaknesses and skips all of my strengths. Yeah, some guy writes, running hurts my feet and ankles. I'm 10 minutes of running and I am in excruciating pain. And I'm thinking to myself, why? And so you, like, if that's what you think exercise is, then you go out and run and you get this huge aversion to it because you have this aversive thing that happens when you do it. So don't run if that's what's happening with you. On the other hand, some people go out and run and they're like, I feel great. We're all different. And I tried, baseball and basketball when I was a kid, hated them. I tried running. Oh, it was so terrible. Swimming, not terrible. It's all right. But I don't love it, And then I found the weight room. And it's like, this is like, wow. I felt like high afterwards, and it was something I looked forward to. Whereas all of those other things were just like I would try to avoid. Which exercise form is the right one for you is specific to you, and no one knows, not even you yet, unless you've done the work to try a whole bunch of things out. So try out different things until you find the one that you look forward to, because that's the one you're going to do.
Also, I would argue finding something that you can sync like I weightlift because it lets me feel every part of my body. I can feel my muscles moving and that's a really good grounding technique. So, if running for you sucks really really bad, but you like the way it sucks and like you want to feel that, like that works. Um what is your favorite kind of art medium?
Ooh. Film. I love film. I love visual media. But I like a lot of things like fine art. I like paintings, sculpture. Um, yeah, some guy writes, I suck at running because of my asthma. Yes, I'm asthmatic. I go out and run, I start wheezing like a like a yeah. Oh, it's awful. It's awful. Um, yeah, I love film. I love uh, mise en scene. I love montage. I love the way film lets you get to the emotions. Um, Sometimes in a way that doesn't even involve words. Um, Film is cool, and it's become completely democratized in recent years. All you need is a phone now. A guy I know who's won multiple awards that you've heard of as a film director and who has a lot of films to his name. We were talking the other day. He does it for the last several years. The phone is his only thing, like a phone and a mic. Um, and I told him like, yeah, I'm doing phone now. The low overhead is so much better. Um, there's a there's an artist by the name of Gerhard Richter. I used to go to San Francisco Museum of Modern Art all the time. There's a guy who I saw like a painting there. It was in a hyper realistic style. It's a painting of his wife reading a newspaper, and it was exquisite. It was celestial. It was amazing. Not just technically, but artistically, so good. And I was like, wow, who's the guy who painted that? So I read the name, Gerhard Richter. Oh, that's pretty cool. So then another visit to the same museum, and I'm on a different level, different floor, right? And there's somebody who's doing. You've got the um, abstract expressionist painting. I'm looking at these different abstract expressionist paintings, and the question I always ask is, what do I feel when I look at this? Right? People love to say, "Oh, modern art is stupid. My kid could have painted that," but it's like, stand in front of the painting and tell me if you're feeling anything, and then tell me that it's stupid. Because it's a whole lot of paintings that look stupid if you're seeing a 640 by 480 GIF of them that are jaw dropping in person. So I'm looking at these different abstract expressionist paintings, and there's this one room where just everything in the room is like, oh my gosh, this is so good. What is happening? There's nothing figurative in there, right? It's like shapes. It's like paint. But somehow something really going on. Who painted these? It's this guy named Gerhard Richter. It's the same guy who can do photorealistic painting now is also doing impressionist painting. Wow, I'm gonna look around for this guy. Another time, I'm on a different floor. I'm looking at photography exhibits, and there's a guy who's doing something amazing with photography, where he's like inverting the foreground and the background, playing with what is up and what is down, what is a reflection and what is figurative, and it's all photographic, right? He's just like taken some photos and done weird stuff to it, probably in the years before Photoshop, and it's really affective. It's really getting to me. Who who took all these photos? I'm asking myself. This guy named Gerhard Richter. Okay, art.
Yeah. When's your birthday?
It's the day before all the Western European powers declared war on Germany, starting World War II.
Okay, is
Go look it up. Next question.
Do you ever feel overshadowed by Technoblade?
Not anymore.
Whoa, sorry. I
Next
want you to
question.
know that this whole family is full to the brim with dark humor. Apollo likes to play Minecraft with me, and if I say no, he goes, "My brother would have done it." And then what am I supposed to do? I don't think he's ever gonna stop pulling that card.
Have you, Pixie? Have you read what I wrote about turning everyone in my family into D&D characters?
No, because it was so much text.
Oh, girl, come on.
You
Well,
forget I'm dyslexic. I was tired.
okay, that's fair. One of the things I said in writing about Apollo is don't
What?
crack open his notebook because what you read inside will drive you mad.
Real. He makes the most Technoblade jokes I've ever heard, to the point where, like, because nobody knows what his tag is that if he came into a chat and talked the way that he talks, the people would ban him. They would they would ban him, and he would DM me and he'd be like, "Pixie." Let's see if there's any Reddit questions.
Someone
Would you
asked
be the
how we celebrated Techno's 23rd birthday. Artemis made him a birthday cake. Chocolate on chocolate. We all had a piece. He had a piece. It wasn't especially celebratory, but it was a good day. We were all there. It was a good day. Pixie, you were about to ask me something.
No, I lost it. Because I got distracted. Echo says there is no way this is still going on. Holy fuck. Guys, Technodad said an F nasty one time on a stage, and I thought that the internet was going to implode. What's your favorite Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle?
Oh. I don't know. Young me was kind of into April. Next question.
How you do you feel overshadowed by Western powers declaring war?
I totally support the Western powers declaring war. The whole invasion of Poland is just completely unacceptable, and Germany needs to.
Okay, somebody said, "What's your guys' favorite Minecraft blocks?" And they're asking both of us. You go first.
My favorite Minecraft block. They really all look the same, don't they? It's like brown. Okay, that's my answer. The brown one.
What's brown and blocky? No dad's favorite Minecraft block. Mine's probably. I like mossy cobblestone. It's nice. Have you ever played Geometry Dash?
No, I don't. I haven't heard of that.
Have you ever played Club Penguin?
I have been in the room when my children were playing Club Penguin.
One of the first jokes he made at me when we started working together was that he wanted me to 1v1 him in Club Penguin.
Yes. It's probably one of the many times you said something completely insupportable and like something about the 2005 Pride and Prejudice, something like
Okay.
that. And I said 1v1 me on Club Penguin. Yeah.
He acts like he hates me, but he got all mushy gushy when I called him bestie, so you would think, based on how he talks about me, that I'm some like thorn in his side. That's not true. Please don't hate me, I promise I'm not just mean to him all the time. Um,
Pixie,
what?
you are worthy of love.
Okay, I'm gonna need you to take that and can it? Mail that to me at a later date.
Deal.
What's your
Somebody,
favorite
okay.
flower?
Oh, I love roses. Red roses for my sweetie. Uh, you remember when Fry and Leela were trying to infiltrate the robot planet and the robot sentry wanted to execute a test to determine whether they were robots or not? And he says, which of the following would you most prefer? A pretty flower for your sweetie, a properly formatted data file, or a puppy? And Fry asks, "Is the puppy mechanical at all?" And the robot says, "No, it is the bad kind of puppy." So they answered the data file thingy, and the robot said, "Correct. Although we would have also accepted a pretty flower for your sweetie." Roses. I like to buy roses for Demeter, or sometimes mixed bouquets. But I do love
Mixed
roses.
bouquets. I made him get her, so she had a concert and I made him get her flowers from me.
Sunflowers for Pixie.
Yeah, sunflowers for Pixie. How would you describe your chess ELO?
I'm sorry. Say that again.
Your chess ranking, how would you describe that?
Not great. I'm not great. It's not something I put much time into, and uh, it doesn't. It's not something that works well if you don't actually, know what you're doing. Um, someone
Guys,
asks
we all know
why.
you're better than me. Please stop saying that.
Someone asks why I don't have a PFP. Um, so uh, that's like an avatar, right? Like a picture
Yeah, it's like my little proton pixie
who's
icon.
out in a field of sunflowers or whatever.
Yeah.
And I have like the default Discord game controller.
Yeah.
Um, I think I love doing things like that, but only when I have a good idea. Like I could stick a picture of my face in there. So what? I know we're running long, so I just want to say goodbye to everybody who has to leave.
Yes.
Um,
And this stage is being recorded, so you're absolutely welcome to leave.
yes. um, what was I saying? Yeah, profile picture. As soon as I think of a gimmick that pleases me, I'll put something up. And I guess I need one for Discord, and I need one for Reddit because I got some kind of like, what do they call the little Reddit character, like a goon or something? I got uh, snoo. Yeah, it's a snoo. I got some little random snoo. Um, and I need like a we have like a banner for the Mr. Technodad sub. That's nice.
Yeah.
And yeah, I love coffee. River asked like 5 minutes ago if we're besties. Of course we're besties, dude. You're my Discord friend.
um.
What else?
do, 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 do,
Hey,
do.
we're besties, says River.
Someone asked what your favorite moment with me was, but I feel like that's boring. Actually, I don't know what that is. Do you have a favorite, or is it just all the time?
Uh,
It's like the
tell him,
world's
t-
longest sigh.
tell him the Nikki story.
Oh, oh my gosh. Okay.
This next anecdote will be told by guest speaker Pixie.
So from day one, when we've been working on a thing and he's been going around and meeting a bunch of people. And I love Nikki Niachu. I love her so much. I think that she's done a really phenomenal job like making space for women in gaming and women in streaming, and I think she's a really inspirational person and I totally love her. I mentioned that to technodad. Um And then like it's like 8 p.m. where I'm at. And I'm doing homework. I have like taken all my makeup off. I am ready for bed. And I get a call from technodad and I'm like, oh, weird. What is this? And I pick up. I didn't even see if anyone else was in the call, and I hear this little German laugh. um and I immediately turned my camera off and I'm like changing. I'm like putting on a different shirt. I'm trying to brush my hair. I'm like having a full scale like panic because that is not what I was expecting. But I ended up getting to talk to Nikki for like 45 minutes. It was like a whole conversation, and she and I trade pictures of our cats now. And we talk about how much we love our cats. And yeah. Is that seriously your favorite moment? That was so embarrassing for me.
You know, the like about 70% of the questions I get from the outside world are, "What is your favorite X?" And it's like, I've said this before. I'll say it again publicly. Whenever anyone asks me, "What is your favorite X?" I reinterpret the question as, "What is an X that's memorable or stands out to you?" Because figuring out what my favorite is I have to think of all of the different instances of X and then put them in order and then take the head of the list. And it's like, ain't no one got time for that. So
I cannot believe that I was mortified. I was like, my heart was like insane. I thought I was gonna have some sort of like panic attack. I do have a picture from that though. Is I took a little screenshot and I have it. It was my home screen for a while. It's me and Nikki and technodad, all with our cameras on, just hanging out.
yeah, I
I'm gonna
really
cry and
like
throw up
her.
just thinking about that.
See, it's memorable, right? Super memorable. Uh, my favorite number is probably pi or 7. I don't know. I can't pick one. Um, Is it, there's a bunch of questions of the form. Is it okay if we, and the answer is yes. It doesn't matter what the second half of the sentence is. Is it okay if we get a Technoblade tattoo? Yes. Is it okay if we write fan fiction with Techno as a character? Yes. Is it okay if we, yes, it is. It's okay. I love you guys. You're great. And I love the stuff that you do. Um, uh, uh, there have been multiple questions about Filza, and I haven't hit up any of them. So I'll just mention that um, out of all, is it okay if we talk bad about ourselves? No,
No.
no, no. Um, it's a boy that I'm just gonna turn my head to the left for a moment so I can't see the chat anymore. I've there was out of all the cajillions of Alex's friends, the only one that I got to meet face to face during Alex's lifetime was Phil. And he's absolutely wonderful. And I've spoken with him a number of times since then. And I'm not certain, but I think maybe he's taking me under his wing a little bit. Because he's had some really good advice for me about being Mr. Technodad, and plus he just seems like a really warm guy. I really like Phil. That's the headline.
Technodad, that's so sweet. I'm gonna hurl. Well, so because Phil's been taking Technodad under his wing, but on the flip side, Tommy is super taking me under his wing.
Yes.
So
Someone asks, didn't Technodad say he's met Skeppy? And yes, I've met a number of additional people face to face since Alex's passing. But Phil is the only one that I met. Like there was one occasion, grand total of one occasions, where it was Technoblade, Phil, and me in a room chatting about stuff. And it was great. Like 2.5 hours ago, someone asked if I'd met Tubbo. I did a stream with Tubbo. He's fabulous. How does he get so energetic? Oh my gosh. But the way, just very briefly, the way the Tubbo thing went was someone, probably Alice, because it's always Alice.
I love Alice.
Someone I know. She's like, does she know everyone and everything that's
Alice
happening?
is everywhere.
Yeah, she's everywhere. So somebody, probably Alice, is like, by the way, Tubbo is doing a charity stream for the Sarcoma Foundation of America. Just FYI. And I was like, oh, that is so cool. I should send him good vibes for that, like I did for Jack Manifold going.
Alice also was
ahead
the
of
one who
his.
told me that Jack was boxing for the Sarcoma Foundation.
Yeah, it's always Alice.
It's Alice.
So I connected with Tubbo on Discord, pulled some strings, and got a chance to talk to Tubbo.
You talked to Technodad?
I got a chance to talk to Tubbo, and I was like, I heard you're doing a charity stream for Sarcoma Foundation. That's so great. Is there anything I can do to help along? Like, can I promote it or whatever? And he's like, sure, you can be on the stream. I'm like, okay then, let's do that. And so it was mostly Tubbo and me, and there was a certain amount of Hannah Rose and a certain amount of dun 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 dun. I'm a squid kid. So I got to meet Squid.
Good kid.
Squid.
Can I just take a second and I just want to, like, Tubbo, Tommy, Amesy, Rambu, they're all about my age. Incredible people.
Yes.
Truly, truly phenomenal people. Can I tell a little story?
Sure.
So I'm gonna tell you, I'm 19. I'm in college. And so I do all of this stuff, and the cool thing about it is that there's a bunch of people who all of a sudden kind of know who I am peripherally to Technodad and all the stuff that he does, which is insane. I love it. It's so fun. I love being able to talk to people. I love being able to make new friends. But I'm also in college. I'm a STEM major. So I want to be able to go back to college. And I reached out to Rambu and I was like, hey, I'm doing a thing. I don't know. Do you have any advice? This man, they sat down and talked to me for like 2 hours about things that he wished he had known and things that they did that they didn't like and stuff like that. Um, so like I just wanted to be able to say that is that like Tommy, Rambu, both of them have done massive things for me personally and like helping me make all of this stuff for you guys possible in like the most efficient way. And this stuff like this would not happen without the behind the scenes teaching and encouragement and support from both of those guys. So just throwing that out there that all of you should you got a big old thank you to give them because I would not be nearly as put together if I didn't have their wealth of knowledge and advice to lean on. And I always like to plug them. I always like to be like, they're great. I love them.
Okay, hang on though. I just got a text.
Okay, do you want me to keep talking?
It's Best Buy wanted to let me know that my order is almost ready to ship.
Holy crap. Best Buy?
Yeah, they're texting me
Dang.
stuff.
You guys will be able to find this recording in its entirety and also cut up on and edited it into a silly video on the Mr. Technodad YouTube channel. This is
I know. I feel so. I'm ambivalent, right? Because on the one hand, I want to keep going. On the other hand, I feel like I'm starting to get that like, have I
that like
stayed too long?
what do you guys think? Do you guys want to keep going or do you want to do you guys all have stuff to do?
More
More?
ferrets. Fun fact: ferrets are legal to keep as pets in 49 states. Every single state in the United States of America, except the one I live in, ferrets are legal pets.
My friend has pet ferrets.
They seem
They're
cute.
they're weird and they smell funky.
I've heard that they do not smell that good.
They don't. Um, I'm not playing Minecraft. It's just open in the background. Technodad, what's your favorite emoji?
Ah. Oh.